So for the last week, I've been in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is like 400 miles north of Bangkok. And you know what? Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's got nearly 1 million people in the metropolitan area. It's got a tropical savanna climate. I'm literally just reading off of Wikipedia. So this is stuff you probably already know. I mean, you've read every page on Wikipedia, and you want to know what I experienced, and I experienced a lot. For example, my ass got wet, and more stuff than that happened. In a minute, I'm going to call up my buddy Kevin, and I'm going to tell him about it. And this is a podcast, and the name of the podcast is Bad Travel Podcast.
How's it going, Derek?
It's going pretty good. I just went around the block for some coffee.
Okay. Was the coffee good?
It was all right, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I saw another thing on the way back from the coffee shop. It was like a sign advertising this thing called Fish Spa. I don't know if you know about this, but it's like it's a spa you go in, and you put your feet in these tanks, and then little fish eat the dead skin off your foot.
Did you partake?
No, man. I had to record a podcast with you.
You didn't have time to treat yourself.
But it just that seems like a weird, like, fruity bourgeois thing. You know what I mean? To like, I'm going to have fish eat my dead skin. And I don't know, maybe like it's a traditional, like, whatever. But to me, it just seems like very extravagant to be like, I'm going to have these little animals be eating my skin, and it'll give me nice, fresh new feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's bourgeois at all. I mean, my dad was a steel worker, and he every day after work he used to go down to the river and stick his feet in, get them cleaned by whatever the fuck was in the river.
How's it bourgeois? I have bed bugs, and they eat my dead skin. So, but I was trying to think of like, what's another cool thing that we could do with fish for rich people, and I was thinking. This is sort of an incomplete idea, but I wanted to run it by you because it might actually be something that makes us both very rich.
Uh-huh.
So you get some fish, and you put them in a tank, and you advertise a brand new, it's like half spa, half culinary. And you go in, you're a rich person, and you sit on this like glass toilet, okay? And there's fish swimming beneath you, and you take a shit into the toilet. And the fish eat the shit. They eat your shit. And then after they're done eating your shit, and you get like an enema too that's like thrown in, right? They clean you out. They make sure you feel pampered and soft and fresh, ready to go. And after the fish are done eating your shit and your asshole's nice and clean, you go back to the tank and you point to a fish and you say, I'm gonna take that one. They take it in back.
No. Okay.
And then they fillet it, and you eat the fish that has just eaten your shit. And I think rich people could get into this.
Well, yeah, I'd like to say you're wrong, but there was that restaurant. I think it was like in Tokyo. People go to pay to what do you call it? Seduce livestock, and then they kill the livestock that they've had special relations with and eat it. That's a real thing.
Are you saying they fuck the cow?
They might, yeah. That's.
Are you sure this isn't just a story from one of your animes?
No, I think that's a real thing. I think that's a real thing. Unless I might have read about it on like some web forum when I was like 15. I was like, wow, but I think that's like I think that's real.
Wow, I can't wait to go there. Is what you thought?
Quite the food scene they've got in Tokyo.
Here's my tagline for the fish restaurant: "Taste the circle of life."
All right, I thought you were full of shit, but you might actually pull it off if you do stuff like that.
But if I get my way, we'll both be full of shit soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tired of not being able to eat the nitrate cycle?
Also,
Yeah.
another thing, some more observational humor from this morning. I took a shower, and all the showers here, most of them actually, have like a box. I don't know if you've seen this before, but like an electric heater inside the shower stall that you can like adjust the temperature, and basically it heats the water right before it hits you, which is great. Like I've been having like a lot of like good showers in Thailand because like the water's nice and hot, and it doesn't run off of like a water heater located somewhere else that's going through like, like all the hot water is coming from the same location. So if somebody else is taking a hot shower, or somebody in the next apartment like turns on their dishwasher or whatever the fuck, normally in America, a piece of shit country, that would fuck up the temperature of the water. But here you've got like kind of your own private supply that is continually reheated. So you could just be in the shower all day and it'll be hot all day. Like, it's kind of fucking amazing.
That is really cool. I'm kind of a long shower kind of a person. Like I tend to enjoy.
I treat it like a vertical bath.
Yeah, right. And for me, it's like the decline in temperature. When it starts declining, you're like, oh fuck, I've been in here for too long.
It's a little dangerous because like it just, the hot water keeps coming and you can just stay in there as long as you want. And so I was thinking like, why the hell don't we have this in the United States or whatever? I did some Googling, and it turns out the reason we might not have it is because it's not very safe. It turns out people die. They get electrocuted to death from their water heaters. It just happens sometimes.
That's not something you.
And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want that to be a just happens sort of event.
You don't want to die, and it's like, oh yeah, well, because he had fucking electricity in his shower.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess we shouldn't plug in a heater in the shower. Well, what if you just had instead of a heater, had like a kerosene flame heat all the water?
That's what a normal hot water heater is, right? It like runs off of gas.
No, but I mean like the flame shoots out and hits the water as the water's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so that way you get that.
I think that would create a lot of steam.
Well, I mean, it was just an idea. I mean, it might, you might produce some steam. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, on the scale of like the worst idea ever to the best idea ever. Let's say my shitfish restaurant is closer to the best idea, and your flame that shoots out of the wall in the shower closer to the worst idea.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's good because you didn't really specify the distance between the two ideas. You just kind of put them relative.
The scale is very, very wide, and my idea is almost touching perfection.
Oh, okay.
And your idea is almost touching anti-perfection.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll see. We'll put it out there in the market of ideas, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, let's just sell them as a package deal.
Where you're in? You said you're in Chiang Mai, right?
Yeah, I'm in Chiang Mai. I'm in the north of Thailand. It's, I guess, similar climate-wise, but there's mountains up here. Like, there's a mountain range. It's a little bit cooler than it is down south, like temperature-wise, but it's still like hot during the day.
Cool. You've been walking around a lot and stuff? You've seen a lot of shit?
No, that's funny that you asked. So I've been here a week, and I've been inside the entire time. Yeah, I've been walking around. I've been here walking around, and the thing about Chiang Mai is that it's like proportionally, there's way the fuck more tourists here in Chiang Mai than there were in Bangkok, which is a little bit surprising because I thought Chiang Mai was like, this is more the authentic Thai city, but it's like a tourist town. It feels like a beach town, but there's no beach. The streets are just crawling with tourists. And because of that, the northern Thai food is really good, but there's also shitloads of like, there's so many places that advertise British breakfast, with like the sausage and eggs and beans and shit. And I'll walk past those places. and I'll peer in, and it's a bunch of people with interesting shaped heads.
What do you? Is it a lot of?
You know what I mean? Because like British people, they kind of. I don't know if it's because they cut their hair shorter or something, but some have like potato-looking heads, and some have more like a thumb head.
Yeah. So what I'm imagining, the scene you described, is you look into this restaurant and it's just like a bunch of people wearing like pith helmets, just eating.
But yeah, but there are like a bunch of English pubs, and I imagine I've kind of I haven't tested this out yet, but in my head I've created like an impression. So I haven't done this with my voice yet, but in my head I have an idea of how a British person might sound in Chiang Mai when they go to a pub. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
British guy goes to a pub in Chiang Mai. He orders a pint.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a sip, and he goes, "That's." Hold on.
No, that was good.
Hold on. I'm still getting in the mood.
Just think, magical umbrellas, Queen's Guard, whatever the fuck else is in England. Just get in the headspace for it.
Right. Now that's a fucking right point. Is that good? That's a proper pint. That's a fucking proper pint.
Okay.
Wait. Right. This pint is fucking mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how they all sound.
Nice.
All of them.
Now is that you said it's a British accent? Is that Philadelphia or is that Atlantic City?
Come on, man. They all sound exactly like that, 100% accuracy.
Yeah. I can maybe.
That sounds exactly like Paul McCartney.
I can do a British accent. I try to do like a posh one. It'd be like, oh, I couldn't possibly.
Oh no.
No.
That just sounds like a deaf guy. Yeah, sounds like a guy who's deaf.
No, that was British.
That was offensive.
That was totally British.
Sounds like a guy who lost his hearing at a young age, and you're making fun of him. So I don't think we're gonna have to cut that out.
I think that's it. That's all I got. I can do kind of like that's that weird, yeah. Oi, that kind of thing. Oi, did you see the new Lily Allen CD? Like that.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like you were doing an impression of what I was doing. But it's just weird to me because like people come from their country and they get to Thailand and they look around and they're like, "Fuck, man, I could go for some home cooking."
After a while though, it does kind of like I feel like toward the last leg of it, you do kind of miss because the thing about it is like with food, right? You don't think about food until you have different food. Do you know what I mean? Because like the food you grow up with is just food. There's no like mysticalness to it or like any novelty to it, and you just think it's normal. And then when you go somewhere else, you don't think like, oh, my food is just one category amongst many ways to prepare something that's edible. It's wow, this shit's weird.
Right, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't think that because I'm enlightened, but yeah, the food you grow up with, you think, oh, that's default. Like in my case, I think like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to eat like meatloaf 4 times a week, and then dessert is mac and cheese. But it's weird seeing all this like this Western food that's like. It's still being made by Thai people, but it's being made for like Westerners who are like visiting as tourists. And so like I walked past this taco place in Chiang Mai, and it's called Loco Elvis, and the subtitle was like authentic Mexican food or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit like I don't know, I was just like kind of annoyed or something because I saw that and I was like, well, this is not an authentic street taco. It should be corn tortillas and a little bit of asada or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. You're like pounding at the window and you're like, hey, that's not authentic. Hey.
Yeah,
just like crying.
you're appropriating my culture as a white guy who lives in Los Angeles. I get to decide what is and isn't authentic Mexican food. I mean, as far as I can tell, Mexican people don't give a shit. I've never heard them say anything about it, but I care a lot because it's my one mark of distinction I have culinarily. But I think almost everybody that comes to Thailand does both Bangkok and Chiang Mai, which also I didn't realize. I thought Chiang Mai was like a more obscure like city, but it turns out no, it's like it's the same as Bangkok. That's why when you go to Bangkok, you see some tourists, but when you go to Chiang Mai, like all you see is tourists, because all the tourists that go to Bangkok go to Chiang Mai, and it's just like fucking overrun with them. Because Chiang Mai is a much smaller city, but its tourist population is probably equal to the amount of people that actually live in the city.
So, I mean, what's like the proportion of people? I'm sure like the tourists that are like from Europe, they go to like local restaurants too. Do you see a lot of tourists just eating around at like local spots, like eating Thai food and stuff? I'd imagine that would be higher, more people doing that.
Like that's kind of one of the things that's a bummer is I'll be reading like a bunch of shit online. I'm like, all right, I found the local hot spot. This is kind of off the beaten path. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna have this nice curry. No tourists. And I get there and it's all tourists because they all read the same shit that I did. They like all did the same Google search that was like, where can I eat that only the locals eat at or something? And they go there and of course it's all just white people.
What's the difference between Bangkok and Chiang Mai?
Food wise?
Anyway, I don't know.
I can't.
What's the difference between any city and Chiang Mai?
I can't. Like, what you think? I'm a fucking professor? I don't know.
All right, I don't know.
What's the difference between Chiang Mai and Iowa City? I have no idea. You can't ask me these kind of tough questions.
I didn't know if there was like a sort of like a subjective thing that popped in your head where like, oh, this is kind of different than when I was in Bangkok.
I would say the food in Chiang Mai, the northern specialties. They have like a northern sausage, which is kind of like spicy. They have like this thing called khao soy, which is a coconut curry noodle soup, which is like their thing. Like this is the Chiang Mai dish. Those things are very good. Their specialties are really good. I'd say in general, maybe the northern food is more spicy than it is sweet. I don't know. I've been eating a lot like night markets, but they have like really good food. They have like fried chicken livers, which were good. I had shish kebab, or I don't know if there's like a Thai way. There's maybe is shish kebab. What ethnicity? What not ethnicity? What language is shish kebab? Shish kebab.
What do shish kebabs wear?
Like, well, I don't know if shish kebab is, maybe there's a Thai word for it. But yeah, I've been eating at a lot of night markets. Actually, I saw this thing at one of the night markets. I saw this guy talking to this Thai stall person. They were selling like these little coconut cookie things, and they were selling them for 20 baht, which is about 60 cents. And the guy, this white guy, was like, no, 15 baht.
Nice.
He's like trying to fucking haggle down the 60-cent dessert. You know what I mean? Like
nice.
if you can't afford, I mean, like you need to go to the embassy or something.
You know what it might have been? It might have been they were just like, I can haggle here, so I'm gonna try. Do you know what I mean?
Right, like one of these like I'm just haggling for sport type of things. And
right.
It's like what you're doing is you're being a complete stupid asshole.
Just a side note, have you ever tried to haggle? I know you just like shit on it, but like in the States at all, have you ever given it a shot?
No.
I've never haggled.
It doesn't appeal to me. I don't even get any satisfaction of like getting a good deal. I mean, I like when things are cheap, but if I had to work more to make it cheap by like arguing with a stranger, then it's not worth it. It makes it worse.
Right. It's like
If I have to pay more to not argue with a stranger, I'll do it. That's the flip side of it. It's insane to me that you're gonna try to like directly exert your power on a person at a street stall in Thailand. You go on vacation, you're like, I'm gonna. What do? You like get back home and you're like, yeah, I really fucking put one over on that little old lady selling desserts. Boy, you should have seen her face when I was like, no, I'm not gonna give you the money you asked for, you old bag.
That's definitely what it was. It was probably like, I feel like it would have been something they could just like brag about at a dinner party. It's like, oh yeah, this one time in Thailand, I really got down with the whole scene there, and I started haggling over this like 10-cent cookie, and I got it down to 8 cents. So I really won that one.
This guy doesn't go to dinner parties. He eats hungry man dinners off of his crotch. He's one of these idiots that like read a book that's like, this is how you succeed in business. And, like meanwhile, he's like fucking, a mail clerk or some shit.
Right.
He has nothing to do with business. And he's like, I got to apply these principles somewhere. Goes on vacation, sees an old lady, and he's like, it's time to become the alpha dog. To climb my way up in the business world. I'm going to haggle with someone that has no haggling power at all for a cookie.
I by the way, I love business books because I find them hilarious because it's like clearly the authors and the publishers just think that the people reading these are so stupid because you open it, they're like this thick, and then you open it and the print is like 72-point font. It's like the sentences are 4 or 5 words max, and it's just like stupid anecdotes that it just pad all the chapters. It's like Nancy in accounting tried to apply the principle number 5 from,
They're
like,
basically children's books. They're written on the level of like Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah. It's bizarre, but that's cool. I mean, so like by the way, how long does the night market go for? Like when does it close?
I don't know. Every time I've gone to a night market, I've like eaten way the fuck too much food in 45 minutes and ruined my night and had to walk home almost shitting my pants. Because it's not like they have a bunch of toilets set up, Just my usual strategy of like waiting till the last possible second to use the bathroom. Not great in a place where I don't know how to ask for where the bathroom is. And there's no public restrooms. So I've almost shit my pants a couple times because I'll just be at a street, I'll be at a night market and I'll be eating a bunch of like fried, greasy meat and desserts and just washing it down with sugary drinks. And it's like, I have to shit my pants. Oh, my my Airbnb is 40 minutes away. I guess I'll just like slowly hobble there like a cripple inflicted with some terrible disease. And just in my gut is boiling over.
Just waddling and sweating back to your Airbnb.
Actually, you know what? I did kind of, I don't think I haggled, but I kind of negotiated this week.
What the fuck? That's the same thing.
It's not. But because I'll tell you why. It's because it was another tuk-tuk. And I kind of had this opportunity to redeem myself because it was like I was walking past this like mall and there were a bunch of tuk-tuks outside, and I needed to get to my hostel. It's like an hour walk away, and I was just gonna walk there. But there's some tuk-tuk guys, and they're like yelling at me, and I'm like, let me hear them out. Mm-hmm. So I walked up to one, and he was like this old guy, and he was like, all right, 120 baht, and I'll take you to your hostel. 120 baht's like a little bit over $3, but I had just checked Uber a couple seconds ago, and it was like only 100 baht. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do it, because riding in a tuk-tuk kind of sucks. I mean, like, it's basically a motorcycle with a carriage on the back. I would rather just get an Uber if I was going to call a ride. I was like, no, I'll walk. And he's like, all right, 100 baht. And, again, same price as an Uber. So I was like, no. So I kind of did some negotiating there, and I walked away without getting into the tuk-tuk. And so I felt good about that. And as I'm walking away from the old guy, another dude comes up to me, a younger guy, but still, not that young. He's like 40 or something. He's like, "You walked away from that old man?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "How much did he say?" And I was like, "He said 100 baht." And this guy's like, "How about this? 70 baht, and I'll take you." And I think I was still like, I had the high from like walking away from this old guy who was doing sort of a one-way negotiation at me. I felt like I had haggled, so I kind of was, I had all the adrenaline. I was like, yeah, man, 70 baht, that's a deal.
Yeah. So did you?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got ripped off twice.
They took you back to that travel thing, that travel scam agency.
He drove me back to Bangkok and was like, all right, you got to buy your trip to Chiang Mai now. But
Yeah.
so I get on the tuk-tuk, and we're driving along in Chiang Mai, and he starts talking shit about the old man. He's like, "Yeah, the old man's lost it." It's like, I don't know. I just didn't want to ride with him. I don't hate him.
And he's like, "No, fuck him. He sucks."
I mean, I guess they're competition, but he's, that old man. He thought he could get 120 baht out of you. He's crazy. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he's crazy.
You're like, yeah. Ha ha ha.
What are you saying? We should go back there and beat the shit out of him?
You got several 120 baht wads of cash falling out of your pocket as you're like laughing.
We saw some some pretty girls crossing the street while I was in the tuk-tuk, and the tuk-tuk driver kind of turns around to me and he like looks at the girls, kind of like, "Hey, you see those? There's girls," and I was like, "Ah, yes," like hoping like he's not gonna get into it with me, and he's like, "I'm never gonna get a girlfriend," and and he's like, every day I wish I could get a girlfriend, and then the day passes. And a new day comes, and I wish to get a girlfriend.
It's the most poetic incel I've ever heard in my life.
And I said, I don't know, man. Maybe better if you just didn't like worry about it, And and then he was like, one day, a wise man told me. He started it that way, so I was like, all right.
Yeah, sure.
One day a wise man told me, no money, no honey.
You didn't have to say a wise man. You could have just said a man.
Did he do something else that was wise that made you think he was a wise man, or was this the one thing?
You're like, so what else did the guy do? Was there anything else, or just that?
And then he asked me like, how old are you? And I say I'm 28, kind of thinking like, I hope he doesn't say he's also 28. Yeah, but then he says he's 43, and I kind of go like, he's been just sort of shitting on himself, like, I'm not gonna get a girlfriend, I don't have any money, all this stuff. So I'm like, you look younger than 43, and he does. He looks like he could be like 30 something. I told him that, and he's like, okay, thank you. And it's quiet for a second. I'm like, cool. We don't have to talk about girls. We're not gonna have to like throw more shit on this old man. Like, now we're gonna have a peaceful ride in this loud, shitty tuk-tuk, weaving through traffic dangerously. We're gonna have a nice, peaceful ride. But then he's like, I guess because I just complimented him, he's like, yeah, your lips are nice. You've got nice, kind of red lips. like a woman has kind of colorful lips, and you have like colorful lips. Like a woman, and they like that. They like when they see someone that looks, soft like them, and your face shape is kind of is smooth face shape. And he's like turning around and saying this to me while he's driving. It's like, watch the fucking road. It's disturbing on two levels. It's like, I don't want you to be saying this to me. I didn't ask for this. But also, like, you're driving.
I mean, did you just nod? What did you say to that?
He didn't expect a response from me because he just, like, started going into this other thing. Because he was like, now, don't worry. Even though I'm saying your face looks nice. He probably saw the look on my face. He's like, I only want to fuck a girl with a pussy.
What?
And I
Did
was
he say
like,
those exact words? Did he say
he was
that?
talking about pussy. He's using the word pussies. He's saying like, I don't like lady boys. I only like fucking girls with pussies. I don't want a fucking asshole. And
Oh my god.
and we've only been in this tuk-tuk for like 4 minutes. And I'm like,
Oh
damn,
my-
is this like casual conversation? Did I do something weird to this guy to make him want to talk about pussies and shit with me?
You're like, so yeah, anyway, dude, I don't know why you don't have a girlfriend. I mean,
Right.
Jesus.
And then anyway, he drops me off at the hostel, and I get out, and he like stops the tuk-tuk, and he gets out too, and I'm like, is this where the scam starts? He's gonna direct me to a weird place, or like, I don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen. But he gets out, and he like shakes my hand, and he's like, we had a good conversation. And I was like, all right. I guess enough to like we get out and shake hands like men. And I don't know what to say, so I'm just like, yeah, I hope you know what? I hope we both get girlfriends, both of us. And he's like, thanks, man. And I'm like, all right. So he didn't try to scam me. So that was my best experience with the tuk-tuk driver so far.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool though, because it's like I like his theory that women like men that look like women or whatever.
These are the kind of things you learn when you travel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
cool.
so the other thing I'm doing besides like eating is I'm going to like these temples, and the temples are cool, but they're kind of like the same as the ones in Bangkok. And not to like be like, oh, I've seen them all, but like you see like one temple, and at first you're like really kind of like you're in awe because it's like you see this giant Buddha like the size of a building, and you're like, holy shit, this is incredible. And then you go to another temple, and like even the second temple, and you're like, oh yeah, well it's the same. It's gold, and yeah, it's magical, whatever. But I keep going to these temples just because like there's like an obligation of like I gotta visit all these like places, and it's just like diminishing returns for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's because I'm an asshole. It's just because like you see one and it's really cool. I don't know if you need to see all of them. But
Okay.
there's this cool thing where I saw this a couple times where I would be in random places, and they would have like these tiny, not temple, I guess kind of you would call them shrines. Like they're these tiny houses, kind of look like bird houses. Like I saw one like in a bank parking lot, this tiny like shrine, and it was like there's all these Fanta bottles opened with straws in them around the shrine, and a tour guide was talking about these little houses, and they're like, oh, those are called spirit houses. And when a new thing is built, we build a spirit house because we believe we've dislocated a spirit. And so we build a little house for them, and we give them offerings. And the offerings used to be things like meat and vegetables and stuff. But now it's Fanta. So you'll come across a little house, and it'll be surrounded by soda. And the reason it's always red Fanta, like the preferred drink of spirits, is because this is the drink that most closely resembles blood, which I think is very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But also just like a great win for the Coca-Cola Corporation. Like I'm really very happy for them.
That they cornered the blood lookalike drink market.
Yeah, like how many people are drinking this bloody looking spirit drink, it might just be the spirit. I don't know how like often they refresh the spirit's soda intake, but
There's like a ghost diabetes epidemic.
it's cool that
mean-
even in the spirit world you can have brand loyalty, which is
Yeah.
the only thing that matters. So I'm walking around Chiang Mai for the first couple days, and like all I'm doing is like eating, and I'm going to these like temples and stuff. Not really doing a whole lot else because, like I said, the place is like very touristy, and so all there is like from what I can see, my eyes are directed towards like the things that look like shit I already recognize. So when I'm walking down the street, my eyes will automatically scan to shit that's like third wave coffee shops, hip bistros, whatever the fuck. Because that's the stuff I see in Los Angeles already. So I'm walking around Chiang Mai a lot, and I keep seeing this, there's these mountains over the town, and I keep thinking, like, I gotta go to the mountain. I gotta be in the mountain. I gotta get out of this hell of brands and tasty food, and I gotta go to the mountain. And I found out there's this temple on the mountain called Doi Sutep, and they have buses that go up to the temple. And I'm like, fuck the bus, right? I can just, I'll walk up the mountain. Because in Bangkok and in Chiang Mai, I haven't really, I've done a lot of walking, but it's all been like urban walking. I haven't like gotten into the shit. And also, sidebar, on my way to Chiang Mai, like, I took the train, and my whole thing for taking the train was like, oh, I'm gonna take the train. I'm gonna have a window seat. It's a sleeper train. It's overnight. And as I drift off to sleep, I'm gonna watch the countryside gently rolling by. You know what I mean? And that didn't happen because I fucking booked a lower bunk with the window, and they were full up, and so I had to sit in the upper bunk, which has no window, and it's like a fucking overhead compartment in an airplane. It was awful, because the upper bunk is next to a light, which doesn't go off the entire fucking 12-hour trip. So instead of like, gently falling asleep while seeing a romantic vision of the Thai countryside and absorbing that, I just stared at this light and couldn't get to sleep. People were snoring around me. There were multiple people snoring. So like there was like one guy snoring, and as his snore decayed, another snore would begin. It was like they were perfectly out of sync. So that just for the entire 12 hours, there was always a snore, like it was a drone, like it was like black metal.
Well, really, you kind of saw in a way, the real shit. You saw got the real train experience.
I don't give a shit about the train experience. I want to see the countryside. That's my whole point. In Thailand, I knew I was going from one city to another city, and I was like, during this train trip, I'll be able to stare out into like what the actual landscape is, and I didn't get to do that. I might as well have just been fucking teleported from Bangkok to Chiang Mai.
So is that a 2 or a 3-star review of the Thai train experience?
I'll give it a solid 4 out of 4.
Okay.
4 out of 4 out of 1,000.
Cool.
And so when I learn about this temple that's on top of the mountain, I think, yeah, I'm going to go to it. But I'm going to go to it directly. So I look it up, and there's actually this trail called Monk's Trail, and it goes up to the temple. So I call this Uber to go to the Monk's Trail, and this nice lady picks me up in the Uber, and we talk a little bit, and I'm kind of like, Chiang Mai, has it changed a lot in the time you've been living here? And she's like, yes. It's like, great. We have that kind of conversation. And
right.
On the way to Monk's Trail, she's like, you're going to Doi Sutep? And I'm like, yeah, I'm hiking up there. And she's like, ugh.
Always a bad sign.
Not a great sign. But then she's a nice lady, and she has some oranges with her, I guess. I didn't know until she handed me one. She put one in my face, and she said, you eat. And I said, okay. I ate the orange. It was good. And after I was done eating it, I was thinking, like, if I was in Los Angeles and my Uber driver offered me an orange, I would be pissed off. But here, it's quite delightful. It's just a lady and her oranges. In L.A., it'd be like, what's this fucker trying to kill me with his poison orange?
Yeah, it's like, what does he want?
Some asshole gave me an orange, 0 stars.
The review just says, he gave me an orange.
Enough said.
She dropped you off at the beginning of the trail?
Yeah, it's kind of like walking up the trail and really starting it. They have like these orange sashes like tied around the trees, like from a monk's
robe.
Orange sashes from a monk's robe. So that's like it's guiding the path. So it's great. I'm finally in nature. I'm going up the hill. I'm catching like glimpses of the city through the trees. I see a couple people. We do the trail etiquette thing. By the way, I always thought like a cool thing to do when someone's like, you're passing them on a trail and be like, hey, and then you could be like, hey, I'm gonna go jack off in the woods and try and stop me.
Yeah.
You're already on your way down. You're too tired. I could easily outrun you and still succeed in jacking off. There's the vegetation is like thick, so it's kind of like dark. It looks like the Mystic Woods or some shit. I don't know. It looks like a guy could be playing the lute, and I come to this part where there's like this ancient bridge. It's very weathered by the elements. There's with a bamboo handrail, and I start making my way across it, and it's like kind of creaky, and I'm like, this fucking rules. I'm here. I'm in the shit. I'm in the woods in northern Thailand, half the world away from home, and there's not a soul around, and it's great. And I'm crossing this bridge, and there's like this sign. It says coffee and tea. And I walk out from behind the corner, and there's a shrine, and a bunch of like children, who apparently had also just done the climb quite easily. I arrive and I'm very sweaty. I arrive sweaty, and there's a bunch of children laughing and sitting around in the shrine. And there's a there's a small coffee shop in the shrine selling espresso. So, I finally thought like, yeah, I'm in it. I'm in the shit. And then like a guy's like, do you want a latte?
And I was like, yes. I would gladly take your latte.
In fact, I did. I ordered a caramel mocha. I accepted my fate. I wasn't going to fight it. I wasn't going to pretend the coffee shop guy wasn't there. It would be very privileged of me not to order a caramel mocha at the shrine. The thing is, I'm not at Doi Sutep, the big temple on top of the mountain. I'm like at some shrine, kind of like still in the middle of the woods, part way up the mountain. So there's like this European family has like a tour guide, and I'm like, you know how I get to Doi Sutep? And she's like, oh, yeah, you can't really get to Doi Sutep from here. And I was like, huh? So the tour guide doesn't know shit. So she's lying to me just because I didn't pay for the tour, huh? I start Googling, and I find like this blog, and it's like, oh yeah, you can totally get to Doi Sutep from the Monk's Trail. So I leave like the shrine area, I backtrack a little bit, and I take this there's this fork in the trail. According to the blog, you go up the trail a little bit, and the monk sashes disappear, but you just keep following the trail. It's fine. So I do that. The sashes disappear. I'm like, right on schedule. This is perfect. I must be in the right place. Mm-hmm. The sashes have disappeared, which is kind of stupid logic, because if you go any direction in the woods, the sashes will disappear.
Right.
It's not really a good sign that you're on the right path. So the sashes disappear. There's like a small creek that I have to like leap across. And like before, I felt like I'm in the woods. It kind of feels like the woods back home even. And now it's like thick, and there are like vines and shit. So it's like, am I in the jungle? I mean, I don't really know the difference, but I know I'm in Thailand, and I know Thailand has jungles. Do the woods and the jungle border each other? Like, I don't really know. I almost run into this branch, and the branch is just crawling, covered with these these medium-sized ants. And they're swarming over this branch. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I keep going up the trail, and I keep seeing these branches covered in ants. They're coming to the end of a branch, and I guess I've like hit a couple of these branches, like unwittingly.
Oh no!
Because I start seeing ants on me, and the ants are like coming up on me, and they're like, I can feel them on my skin. That's why I noticed. I didn't notice when they were just on my clothes. I noticed when they started feeling them like on my neck. And I see them like covered in like 30 or 40 ants. And I'm like, all right, I'm not a spaz. These are bugs. I mean, who gives a shit? All I know is that I'm not supposed to panic. So I slowly take off my backpack. I open it and I grab my bug spray and I just give myself a liberal dousing of bug spray all over my body. And I put the bug spray back, zip up my backpack, and I'm on my merry way. I brush off the ants, no big deal. I keep going up this trail, and it seems less and less like a trail.
Oh God.
It seems more and more like nothing. But
I'm starting to think that blog post was lying.
it's almost like the tour guide knew more than the blog post, which is just inconceivable to me. But I keep going up the hill because I'm like, yeah, if I keep going up the hill, eventually I'll run into this temple. It's at the top of the fucking hill. So I keep going up the hill, but now I'm kind of like, I keep hitting these branches filled with ants, and so they're like on me, and I'm running up the hill a little bit, and I hear dogs howling.
Oh God.
And finally, I run into some power lines that are just like at like they're at me level. They're just kind of on the ground. And as I'm standing there, I'm like, how do I get around the power lines? I feel an ant go in my eye. An ant like crawls across my eyelash and touches my fucking wet eyeball. And I like claw at my eyes and grab the ant. And I'm like, okay, fuck this. Like I'm turning around because I could deal with like ants on my body and shit, but like there's one in my fucking eye. It feels like some kind of alien shit is happening to your body when there's an ant in your eye.
The first time I realized I hit a branch with ants. I'm not lying. I would have just turned around and been like, "Fuck this" and "fuck nature."
Well, I thought I'll tough through it because like the fucking bug spray, but the bug spray didn't do shit. I don't know if this was like low quality like organic bug spray. Like I don't know what the hell I bought, but the first thing I did before I started heading back down is like I'll take off my backpack and I'll get some more bug spray just in case. I'll spray some more on. And as I was opening my backpack, I started seeing ants crawling into my backpack. I was like zipped up my backpack. I was like, fuck that. Ants are crawling into my backpack and shit. It's not even worth it. So I just start running down the hill, almost falling because this is like a steep hill. So I'm just like skipping down the hill and all the while hitting more and more branches full of ants.
Oh no.
There's this one I came across that was like blocking my way. This huge branch covered with more ants than I had seen of any of the other branches. I almost hit it, but I stopped just in the nick of time, and I'm like, all right, not going to hit this fucking branch. I don't know how I missed it coming up, but I almost hit it coming down. And so I grabbed the very tip of the branch with my finger, and I start to like sort of push it back like so I can get around it, and I'm pushing it back and pushing it back, and then it snaps and all the ants fly off the branch into my face. Just into my face. I into my face. They're on my nose. They're on my ear. They're in my hair. I can feel. I run my fingers through my hair, and it's just chunky. My hair is chunky.
No.
So for the first time, I think as like an adult man, I screamed. I just screamed out of fear. They're not biting me. I have not gotten bit by one of these ants yet, but I'm just like, I'm crawling in foreign shit, and I don't enjoy it. So I scream, and I'm grabbing my hair and my eyes and my face, and I'm like rubbing my body and running down the hill at the same time. And I almost run into these two kind of like preppy looking American sorority girls who are like going up the trail, and they see me, and I'm just like quivering, and I don't think they see the ants on me yet because they're just like, is the shrine up this way? And I'm like, yeah, don't go up that fucking trail because there's lots of ants. The ants will get on you. The ants got on me, I said. Like, I was just, like, babbling, and they're like, oh, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
They didn't ask me why I went up the trail. It's because I read a blog post, man. And then I kind of walked up to the back up to the shrine that I'd just been at. But I walk up out of the shrine, and I guess the shrine is connected to the road. So I walk out of the shrine to the road, and as I'm walking out of the shrine, I see there are some chill temple dogs that are just like sitting around, and they start howling on command for treats.
Oh.
So that's the howling I heard. You know. And there's
Yeah.
these people like on the side of the road, and they're waiting for the bus because the bus that I didn't take in Chiang Mai goes by this road, and it still goes up to Doi Sutep. So I ended up taking the fucking bus anyway.
Stories like that, in my own personal experience, I'm not a big nature person. Nature's only good when you know that you can escape it at a whim.
Yeah, I mean, you want to intersperse your nice, civilized, modern existence with moments of abject terror as you're invaded by bugs.
Yeah, yeah. That's you want to be like you want to be reminded every once in a while. It's like, oh, that's why we poured concrete all over it.
So I get to Doi Sutep, and I'm thinking this is the big temple on top of the mountain. It's gonna be more. It's gonna be different from the temples on the ground that are like crowded with tourists and shit. And
Yeah.
I don't know why I had that assumption because they had busloads full of people going up there every 10 minutes. So I get there, and of course, there's like a fried banana stand. There's like corn on a stick. There's ice cream and shit. It's like it's like there's a small village around this temple, but it's cool otherwise. It was probably the coolest temple I saw, not because of like the statues and all that stuff there, but just because of the setting. Because once you get up there, like you have to climb these like stairs, and on the two sides of the stairs, it's like there's dragons. So it kind of reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z, you know?
Did the dragons look like Shinron?
They did.
Nice.
Which is, I guess, just to say they look like dragons.
Well, there was Shinron, which is the more like long and slender dragon, but then there was the Namekian dragon, who was all like fucking jacked.
They look, they look like Shinron, okay?
They didn't look like the jacked dragon from Namek.
No.
Oh,
Fuck that dragon. I'll say it right now. I'll put that on the record. Fuck the Namek dragon.
Whoa.
I hope he kills my ass. But you climb these like long stairs, and you get up to the temple, and there's just it's cool because you're overlooking the city of Chiang Mai. It's like amazing. There's this big yellow haze over it, and I'm like, nice. It's like L.A. Like it's like home. Huh.
Yeah.
Give me a nice warm feeling. And
yeah. Oh, it reminds me of home.
Oh, another cool thing I saw at the temple was I saw this monk buying ice cream,
Yeah.
So I just thought that was cool. I'm fascinated by the things monks do. So if a monk is buying ice cream, like I'll notice.
Yeah.
Sometimes at these temples, like monks will be like they have cell phones, and they'll be taking selfies, with like Buddha in the background. I'm like, that fucking rules. Monks are just like normal dudes. They love selfies. They love ice cream. They also had this like room in the shrine. Like there's a bunch of different temples and shrines and stuff at the temple. I'm not explaining this well. There's a bunch of different parts. You have the ice cream stand, you have the holy monument, whatever. They're the same. They're equally important.
It's like every other holy site. You've got the ice cream stand, the coffee shop, there's the Gap.
They also had this place called Monk Chat. Monk Chat? I hope you're hearing me right. Monk Chat. They have this place.
No, I heard Monk Chat. I just don't know what it is.
And I don't know what it is either because it was closed. If it is what it sounds like, pretty good. I would like to partake. I would like to have a Monk Chat, maybe,
So it was cool. That's what you're saying.
It's good. Yeah. It's my favorite temple thing in Chiang Mai. It wasn't like the best temple itself. There was a cooler temple in Chiang Mai because it looked like Marble Hill Zone from Sonic 2. but but just the location overlooking the city was very nice. Was that Sonic 2?
I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Sonic. We were always a Crash Bandicoot house.
Some dumbass is gonna like message me. That's actually Sonic. Hey, this is yeah, man.
How dare you? That's not what I sound like when I correct you on Sonic facts.
Sir, you got the installment of the Sonic series wrong when you referenced what zone that level is in. And in retribution, I have killed my entire family. Soon I will be dead. I hope you're happy.
I hope you know you've made Sonic cry. Here, I have him right here in my pocket. Do you see him? Do you see the tears?
You try to do stuff and not worry about how people are going to react to it, but then you say something like that, and you're like, you just see, oh, it's all going to come crashing down. I'm not going to be able to recover from this.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get a job at Jack in the Box 4 years from now, and they're not going to hire me because of that little slip up.
Yeah, they're going to be like, ain't you that guy that didn't know what Sonic was?
No, goddammit, I knew what Sonic was. They're blowing it out of proportion.
Don't.
Hey, you're that guy that spray painted Sonic on that mosque, right? No, God, what the fuck?
Don't worry, feller. This is a Bubsy the Bobcat diner. You're safe here.
Now don't go across the way. You got Arrow the Acrobat. Loyalists.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Trekking in the mountain was cool. I think after I did that, it kind of whet my appetite because it was like close to what I wanted, which was like really getting out into the countryside, but not really because I still just ended up going to like a tourist attraction. So when I got back to my hostel, they have like these things up like on the wall that are like you can do like a tour in the national forest that's 2 days and 1 night. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I will do it. And I booked a 2-day, 1-night tour that was leaving like the next day. Because like the cost of it wasn't that much. It was like about as much as I would spend for my room at the hostel and eating around town in 1 day anyway. So I could spend 2 days in 1 night, and it said, like all your food's taken care of, transportation's taken care of. So I'm like, not only will I not spend more money, but I'll get to do this cool thing. Like I've never done like a nature trekking like tour thing.
Okay. Was it cool?
Well, let me tell you about it.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
Yeah, so like I woke up at 6 a.m. and got my shit together at the hostel. Then a van came and picked me up, and we drove out into the countryside. There's like a guy on the van like reading his Kindle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why, but it kind of annoyed me because like the van is like bumpy and shit, and we're going up a mountain road and make lots of turns, and he's sitting there like with his hand on his chin.
Oh no.
His Kindle with one hand, as if he's learning something, as if he's not just getting a headache.
He just has his hand on his chin and just starts vomiting everywhere, but just keeps his hand fixed.
Quite interesting. If you want to look smart on a van, one way to do that is by not reading, because a van is the shittiest place to read.
I would be reading a book called What's a Van?
Why am I nauseous?
Yeah.
So we drive the van out into the countryside, and we start up into the national forest. The van driver pulls off to the side of the road, and just like to a random stand with a shitload of watermelons. And he gets out and he buys like a big sack of watermelons and he like throws it in back. And he doesn't, nobody says anything. So I'm just like, is that just that guy's watermelons?
I think the van driver knew what position he was in. He's like, he was driving the van, so it's not like anyone could be like, hey, don't buy the watermelons. He's just like, hey, I'm gonna stop and get the watermelons.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Like, I guess this guy's loading up on watermelons. We drive through like a couple of small villages, and like now we're out of the city. And the villages are like, they're not the buildings made out of like brick and shit. They're wooden houses and like hand painted signs and stuff like that. And he stops at a couple, like pulls up to like a house, and somebody will come out, and then they'll just talk for a couple minutes and like kind of shoot the shit. And like we're a bunch of mostly European tourists in the back, kind of like sitting there like, what's happening?
It's like when you're like, you go with like, I don't know, your dad or whatever, and he's like, hey, I gotta run some errands, and you just are in the fucking car
Right.
all day as he's just like looking at 2 light bulbs in Lowe's for hours.
It's exactly like what you did with your dad.
I'm just saying, I feel like that's a common experience, right? Where you're like, you get roped into shit.
Yeah, you're on somebody else's ride. Well, because the tour has just started. Technically, it's like, yeah, the tour starts at 8 and it goes to this time, and so it's like 10 or 11 a.m. and we're still just running errands. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this the tour? Like I don't know if it's gonna be like this for 2 days or what.
He just takes the van back to his house and parks it and goes inside of his house. Just.
You guys have fun exploring the woods. That's his accent.
Yeah. So he's wrapping up his errands.
He's wrapping up his errands. We're going up the hill. Something touches my feet, and I look over at the French man beside me, and I'm like, this guy, because I see his foot move, and I'm like, this guy's fucking playing footsie with me. Mm-hmm. This old French gentleman. But then I look down and I see that it's actually a watermelon. The watermelons have come loose, and they're like hitting our feet. They're just rolling around in the van. We came to a stop, and everybody got out of the van, and when I was getting out of the van, I was like, hey man, your watermelons are loose. And he was like, watermelons? Like, yeah, remember you bought them? And they're loose, and they're like hit my feet. I thought a French guy was playing footsie with me. I didn't say that part, but I was thinking it. They separated us into a couple groups. So I got separated into a group that was like, this is the group that's going to stay overnight. The group that was only doing a 1-day hike, aka the cowards, were sent off with another like tour guy. But we got our own tour guy. He came out and smoking this big, like cartoonishly big self-rolled cigarette. It's like wide at the end,
Yeah.
His name is Singh. He met us. He said, "Who are you guys?" basically, and then he said, "Okay," and then he pointed to the woods and he was like, "Go."
Get in there. They're fucking woods.
And I don't know what I was expecting, but I was kind of thinking like, oh, I thought there was going to be more like talking, but no, he kind of just pointed and then we started walking in the woods.
But did he come with you or what?
No, yeah, he came. He came with us.
Okay.
It was here's my group. It's me, the main character.
Yeah.
It's this German girl who's like a little bit older than me. There's this French couple, the guy that I thought was playing footsie with me, and his girlfriend, and they're like in their 50s, and I think there's this woman, she's from like Holland, and she's like maybe in her early 60s. So I'm actually the youngest, like I'm the baby of the group. It's quite nice. And so we set off into the woods, this diverse little posse, and Singh, our tour guide, stops us at some point and he pulls a branch out and he starts breaking it. And he hands it to me and he says, "You lead the way." And, I have he's made me a walking stick. So I'm like, I feel great. I'm like marching forward. I've got my walking stick. It's wonderful. And then I look back, and he's made everyone else walking sticks, too. And I also notice some of their walking sticks look better than mine.
Sing, what the hell?
Sing, I thought I was special. You give a walking stick to the old Holland woman.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like a piece of shit.
Sing, when I told you, when I said, I bet you give all the tourists walking sticks, I wasn't... I didn't think you actually did it. I was trying to be coy.
I was trying to fuck you, dude. Someone asked, like, what animals are in the woods? And Sing is like,
and you yelled snakes.
Ants. Ants! I'm still covered in them. They're like crawling out of my mouth. A bunch got into my backpack. They're like weighing it down like a dirty diaper. Sing is like, snakes, spiders, and monkeys. But he says, we won't see any monkeys because they run away from people because they're afraid of them because people shoot at them and eat them.
Oh, is that why they're afraid?
And I was like, they don't eat the monkeys, do they? And Sing's like, oh yes. I'm like, who the fuck eats monkeys? And he's like, not me. He's like, really like, no, I don't fucking eat monkeys. I don't know. But speaking of snakes and spiders and shit.
Yeah.
The ground is crawling with fucking spiders. Every few feet, every couple steps I take, I see spiders. Like, there really are a shitload of them.
Yeah.
They also have, like, those creepy, long, like, face-sized spiders that hang down, like, a web that's, like, draped across, like, a trail. So you gotta, like, really watch out for these things, because you don't want... If one of those landed on your face, it would be the size of your face.
Ugh.
We got to like this rest stop area, kind of like just like a piece of wood that we all sat on as travelers and Sing, and he's like, all right, let's hang out for like 15 minutes and just chill. And so he's just standing there smoking, and the German girl is like, what are you smoking there? And he's like, oh, this is just tobacco. And then Sing was like, yeah, it's not opium, haha. And then, everyone kind of laughs. And then the German girl is like, oh, yeah, I smoked opium in Cambodia. She was like, I didn't like it. Specifically, she said, I tried it.
Cool.
Which is just funny to me. It's funny to me to smoke opium and be like, oh, yeah, I tried that.
Just smoking the old opes, as we used to call it back in Cambodia when I tried it.
It was also cool when we were sitting around talking that I kind of realized, like, there's two French people. There's a German, a Hollander. I don't know what you... Sure.
I guess Dutch.
A Dutch person. Yeah. There's two French, a German, a Dutch, and a Thai. And we're all speaking English, which is my first and only language, but everyone else's second or third language.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, that was like, there you go. That's privilege in action.
Yeah. You get to benefit from the long and bloody history of the English Empire right there in that convo.
Yeah, well, I also saw, like, there's this guy on Reddit I saw a while ago, and he was saying, like, the reason so many people across the world speak English is because it's just the easiest language to learn.
That's very cool. That's a very Reddit response. I mean, well, logically, I think the more Reddit response would be like, well, our brains are naturally programmed biologically to learn English better. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Any language that functions is clearly easy enough to learn that babies can learn it.
Yeah.
Because babies learn every language. So Sing has like these, he's got some bits,
Yeah.
I guess you pick up some bits when you're a tour guide. Whenever something weird happens, he'll be like, oh, my Buddha. He says that a lot.
If something cool happens, he goes into the 7 dirty words.
We got some gags for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot, like, we go through a bunch of cattle pastures. The first time we came across one, he was in front of everybody, so he's like, oh, here's kangaroo, Thai kangaroo. And we came out, we saw they were just cow, and he's like, ha, 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 Thai kangaroo, huh? We're like, damn, that's a pretty good bit. But then every time we came across a cow pasture, he did it, and it was like, I don't know, man. Like, we laughed the first time, but now it's like you're... But then, after 4 or 5, it kind of started being funny again. I was like, oh shit, I should have trusted Sing. He knows, he knows there's like a curve.
Right, because then you start to, because the first time you still think of a kangaroo and it being normal and the Thai kangaroo being the abnormal, but you keep doing it and eventually the fifth time the kangaroo is abnormal and the Thai kangaroo is normal.
That you're thinking like Sing now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sing
That's
mindset.
the kind of weird place Sing put us in. I don't mean weird place like trekking through the northern Thai jungle. I mean thinking that cows are kangaroos. That's the kind of fucked up shit you experience when traveling.
Yeah.
These are good bits. So we're on the hike, we're on the trek, whatever the fuck, and we stop in this village for lunch, and there's like pigs running around and chickens and dogs, like it's kind of like a farm, and Sing sits us down, and I'm like, cool, I get to eat some like village food, you know. But then he like puts this dish in front of all of us in a banana leaf, and we unfurl it, and it's just like simple bland fried rice with like a little bit of egg in it and like some carrots. I was like, ah man, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
And kind of, you know, but I'm on a trek, I'm in the jungle, and I'm like, I don't know, this is fine. This is just for sustenance, you know, it's carbs. So we start eating our like not good tasting fried rice. It's the worst food I've had since I've been in Thailand. And then I look back at Sing, and he like has left our group to eat with the locals, and they're eating like this delicious looking curry. And then there's like these dogs running around, and they're like kind of begging for food. I don't know why. They should be at the curry area, but they're like at our little table, and they're like begging for rice, I guess. And the lady from Holland is like, "Oh, I hate these dogs. They smell like pigs." And it's like, well, yeah, they live with pigs. It makes sense. And then, you know, we all finish eating, and Sing comes over, and he's sort of talking about the village. He's like, yeah, you know, they farm here. These people originally, you know, they come from Myanmar or something. And, you know, these villages, they used to, you know, get married really young, like 12 or 13 or something, and have kids. And then, you know, the Europeans all start to they all fucking having a debate about it. Like the Holland woman is like, I don't know, should 14-year-olds be having kids? You know, they're all, and then the French people are like, no, but you know, obviously they can have kids because like their body adjusts to it, and you know the body is very flexible, and all this creepy shit about 14-year-olds' bodies. You know, they're all being really fucking European about it.
Yeah.
And then Sing is like, they don't do that anymore. I was telling you they don't do that anymore. And then, you know, the Holland woman's like, no, I think it's fine if they do. Or, you know.
It's like, we get it. You're from Europe. It's okay.
Sing is like, no, there's a high school. They go to high school. They don't get married and have kids.
Sing is like crying. He's like, please stop. They don't do this.
I just get up and start wandering around and looking at the toilets like, huh, look at that. Because it's like, shut the fuck up. Why are you guys being all weird? And then, you know, because at first we sat down and they were acting all like almost kind of like afraid of the people in the village, and like, you know, wouldn't look at them and shit. And now after Sing has warmed them up, they're like too curious. Like they're asking like weird specific questions. Like there's this old woman with like fucked up teeth, and they're like, why is that woman's teeth fucked up? And it's like,
what?
why are you asking that question? You think you're gonna learn something about the world if you find out why her teeth are fucked up? You know why her teeth are fucked up. Come on. Why is anybody's teeth fucked up?
And I learned that in places that are not France, their teeth become fucked up because they are not French.
There's this old guy kind of sitting near us, this old Thai guy, and he's kind of like, you know, half listening, but probably not really because he doesn't speak English, I don't think. he's sitting there on the edge of the group, and the old man farts, like this really loud, like this loud, like car starting, like sputtering fart. It lasts like 2 or 3 seconds. And everybody shuts up. Everybody immediately shuts up. And then the Thai people laugh. The Thai people laugh.
He is wise.
Shut up, the old man is speaking.
The old man's farting. Quit talking about 14-year-olds.
The elder is spoken.
He saw the conversation. He was like, I know what will stop this.
It's really funny. Farts are funny, you know? Everybody knows farts are funny. Thank God. That guy
Yeah.
farted and nobody had anything else to say or ask or talk about. It was over. He farted, we laughed, and then we left the village. It was kind of like when you imagine like a medieval village when someone rings the dusk bell or something and it's like, quiet now. The old man farted, now it's time to shut up.
The dusk bell. The dusk bell.
I don't know, man. What the fuck? Don't give me shit for the dusk bell.
No, it's just funny. I'm not giving you shit. It's just funny to me because I'm thinking of like various bells for different occasions. And they just know which one to ring. No, not that one. That's for when someone double parked. You want the dusk one.
Hey, did somebody just ring the Taco Tuesday bell? Ah, fuck. No, it's wrong bell.
It's just the dusk one again.
So then we left the village. We did more hiking. We're doing like hours of hiking. After that, we got around like 5 in the afternoon. We got to basically now we're like in the middle of I think it's Intanin National Park. Mm-hmm. We're in the woods. We're up on a mountain. We're far away from Chiang Mai. You can't see the city lights. There's no one around for miles, and we come into this clearing where there's like a couple, I guess you would call them like tree houses because they're made out of wood. They're not indoors really, like they're partially open, and they're up on stilts like a couple feet off the ground. And it's like this passion fruit farm, and Singh is like, yeah, this is where we're staying for the night. And it's like, fuck yeah, this rules. It's like all made out of bamboo. The floors are bamboo. It's kind of hard to walk on. There's like pigs and cats walking around and shit. And there's the family that lives there, and they seem cool. Like, it's a neat environment. And actually, we like. I didn't plan this at all, and I had no idea this was happening, but it was like really lucky because dusk started to fall. I think I might have been the first to notice it, that there was like a little bit of darkness on the moon, and it turns out like this was like the lunar eclipse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the lunar eclipse of a supermoon, which just means it's 7%. Looks 7% bigger. And not only was it a supermoon, but it's also a blue moon because it was the second full moon in the month of January. And not only was it a blue moon, but they also called it a blood moon for some fucking reason. So dusk happens, it's night, and then we're witnessing like this fucking amazing event where, it's just us, the family, our tour guide, no people around for miles, no lights of any kind. There's no electricity on the farm. There's so many stars in this, like more stars than I've ever seen in my life at night because, I've just lived in or near cities with like shitloads of light pollution, but there's so many stars and the moon is like being eclipsed by the earth. It's really fucking cool. It's really cool. While this is happening, everyone's kind of quiet because we're just like soaking in this moment, Mm-hmm. And then the Holland woman starts talking about like her ex-boyfriend's syphilis. She was like, Yeah, I broke up with him because he kept fucking all these prostitutes, and then he got syphilis from one of them. Can you believe that? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I can. I wish that old man was here to fart again.
And then Singh like kind of pats the farmer guy, and he's like, "Hey, we have to help the moon." And so the farmer guy goes away, and Singh is like, "In Thailand, sometimes we help the moon." And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. I guess I expected him to come back with like some kind of like special
More blood for
mirror
the
or
moon
something.
god.
He comes back with a gun. He comes back with like a rifle.
Oh, you weren't kidding. Okay.
No, he really comes back with a gun, the farmer, and cocks it, and he fires 3 times at the moon.
I hate the moon.
So yeah, I'm just like a little surprised to have a gun be fired at me so close. He says, "Yeah, in Thailand, sometimes we shoot at the moon to help it."
Is you sure he's not fucking with you?
I don't think so. I mean, the farmer seemed on board, but maybe he just wanted to shoot stuff.
Did you hear anyone else shooting a gun? Was there any other gunshots in the distance?
After the farmer shot his gun, we did hear other gunshots in the distance. But I don't know if they were also shooting at the moon or if they were just...
They were returning fire.
What if they were... Yeah, what if they were just...
You just hear off in the distance, yeah, fuck the moon. Just a bunch of gunshots.
Singh was like, yeah, in Thailand, you know, like everybody has guns and everything. And then the French woman was like, I can't do an accent. In Thai, I don't know. But anyway,
Just
she's like,
it's okay.
She was like, so did Thai people kill each other with their guns? And Singh was like, oh, no, of course not. You know.
What are you, stupid?
And you know, everybody kind of looked at me, the only American.
And you were like, we do kill people with our guns.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, yeah. No, that's what we do in my country.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, I wake up having slept like shit, and they inform me that we're separating you from your little group here. You know, we really bonded. You know, that thing with the guy farting, and then the
blood
I
moon.
guess that's it. The guy farting.
Yeah.
But we bonded, you know, it was like a family. And then, you know, this other guy comes along who's not Singh, and he's like, hey, you're with me. And it's like, is anybody else coming? He's like, no. So
Cool.
for most of the second day, I was just wandering through the woods like me and this one other guy. And this Singh didn't talk a whole lot. Like, he wasn't like explaining a whole bunch of shit, but he was like, you know, people would ask him questions and he would respond. And this other guy, not so much, not the talkative kind of guy. So I would say something like, there was something in the woods, and I was like, oh, is that like a shrine or something? And he kind of looked at it, and he's like, man. Kind of like, why the fuck would I know? Like, I don't know. Don't you like hike on this trail all the time?
That's awesome. There's nothing like wandering through an unknown wooded area with someone who's completely silent who you met 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, I was also just thinking, like, does this guy know where he's even going? His path through the woods seemed a lot more random than Singh's.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of retreating into my own thoughts. I'm kind of thinking about, like, I don't have a lot of context for, like, the woods, you know? Because it's not like, yeah, this reminds me of the jungles in South America or wherever the fuck, you know? I don't have that kind of context. Most of my stuff is, we're walking through the woods and I'm literally thinking, like, yeah, this is kind of like Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah. This is like Rayman.
Seriously, like, I don't know the jungle, but I know jungle stages.
Yeah.
my new tour guide took me to like this area, and he was like, all right, now we're going to go bamboo rafting. I'm like, all right, cool. This sounds pretty good. And I'm paired up with this guy from Poland, this Polish guy, huge dude. And we're sitting on this bamboo raft, and we start going down this small river. And pretty quickly, I'd say about 30 seconds into the 40-minute ride, I decide I hate bamboo rafting.
Why? What was wrong?
I do not like this. Because you sit on the raft, and the water, the fucking dirty river water comes up through the bamboo, and it soaks your ass.
What?
It's cold. Yes, it's cold, and it's not fun. You know, on either side of us, this is the least scenic thing I have seen in the woods so far, because on either side of us is just like a muddy riverbank, you know? But we're not seeing anything cool. We're just like, we're taking a slow ride and my ass is wet. But anyway, so we finished bamboo rafting and it sucks. And and then, so I don't know. The first day was cool with like, you know, the guy that farted and the moon and all that shit. And then the second day just kind of didn't care for the second day quite as much, but it was cool to like actually get out in nature, really see the landscape, and I really wanted to go back to Chiang Mai and go to my Airbnb and sleep in a big bed and just have all the amenities of a city again.
Just you remind me, this is the most refreshing thing I think you can do is like to be outside doing that like shit for like, you know, like how long you did. And then taking a shower after that. It's like the cleanest you ever feel.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but as I mentioned before, the shower is like infinitely replenishing the hot water. So I think I was like really in the shower for like 40 minutes and it was just the same temperature the whole time. It was great. And, you know, if I risked getting electrocuted during that time, fuck it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Thanks for listening to my long stories.
Oh, it's no problem, man.
Is there something we should say to like wrap this up? Every week, I'll say my favorite thing about the city I was in, and then you say your favorite thing about the city. So, what was my favorite thing about Chiang Mai? You know what? Why don't you go first, Kevin?
My favorite thing about Chiang Mai or my favorite thing about St. Louis?
Your favorite thing about Chiang Mai?
My favorite thing about Chiang Mai is the people.
Okay. Wrong. It's the wrong answer.
Okay.
Nice guess. Mine is the vibe. Things are a little different here in Chiang Mai. It's kind of a little different. We do things a little different here in Chiang Mai than we do in Bangkok. We're a little bit different.
Yeah. So again, what gives the city a vibe again? Would you say it's maybe some sort of person or multiple of persons, some type of perhaps people?
You know, I just come to Chiang Mai to chillax, relax, slow down, chill back, sit back, chill out. That's kind of what we do here in Chiang Mai.
It's your town.
This is my city. That's how we do it in Chiang Mai, baby. I think that's a good way to go out.
Yeah. All right. Well, Derek, I guess keep on keeping on. Keep trucking.
Man, we're going to have to work on the dismount here, aren't we?
No, I think this is good. This is how I end all conversations, is just awkwardly backing away, unable to find the right thing that gives it the right timbre.
Okay, bye.
Bye.